Hey guys, welcome to Punky's World. We have a review. Turns out I only have one match left. And some wrestling news. Okay, for the review. It's under here. Okay. The matches included several handicap matches, which Andre was known for, a battle royal, a boxing match against Gorilla Monsoon. Now, I've never seen Gorilla Monsoon in the ring because I'm not old enough. Sorry, Gorilla. But my father did. In fact, I remember when I was a kid, I loved Gorilla. I was a commentator and stuff. My father said, should have seen him in the ring. He was ginormous, and he was mean, and he was a bad guy. There was the haircut match where Big John Studd and Ken Patera, oh, and don't forget the Weasel, cut his hair. That led into a match with Ken Patera, then a match with Big John Studd at the first WrestleMania, which was $15,000 versus Andre's career. He had to slam. Big John Studd. What I was wondering was why they redid the commentary on that match. What was wrong with the original commentary on that match? As I mentioned on the last video, excuse me, Andre looked like the Jolly Green Giant because everybody was green. I don't know why. I think that's something to do with my DVD player, but I don't know. Now, $15,000 in 1985, which Andre won. I looked it up, and it is the equivalent of $41,375 and a nickel today. Lord Alfred Hayes was the host of the whole thing, which is really cool. And I was excited, actually, to see Gorilla Monsoon actually in the ring. I might have seen a couple of, short black and white matches, but my father saw him live, I believe. Back in the day. Excuse me, working for Vince Sr. I also have a little bit of news. By the way, I would definitely give that about 4.5 stars. I don't think the, quality had anything to do with the disc itself, because the disc is in pristine condition. I think it had to do with that VJEXY combo unit, which I'm going to have to look up. And find out why the people look like the Incredible Hulk. Let's do that while we're thinking about it. Whoops. Now, PL green. Let's see. Huh. Well, there are some answers to that, which I'll have to go over later. But like I said, at least there are answers. I made in Find a Grave a virtual cemetery of wrestlers, and before I get to that, we have no information. All we know is that Lenny Poffo has passed away. He was 68 years old. He was the younger brother of Randy Macho Man Savage Poffo and the son of legendary Angelo Poffo. It just popped up. Frankie Kazarian posted it. What's his name? Jim Duggan was asked by the family to announce. Lanny was known as as Leaping Lanny, or his high flying ability. He was one of those guys that was one of the early high flyers. I want to say he didn't wear boots all the time. I could be wrong. Then later on, they repackaged him as the Genius and put him in a cap and gown. His ring gear was a cap and gown. You would take that off and you would wrestle. He was known for poetry, even as Leaping Lanny. And he would have the poems written on frisbees, and he would throw the frisbees out to the crowd. If you got one of those and you still have it, it's probably worth some good money today. Not just today because he just passed away, but probably worth some good money anyway because of the type of souvenir it is. Very few people have them, I might have seen him live once and I want to say I saw him live as Leaping Lanny, and saw him throw the frisbees. He still did poems as the Genius, but he did them on it was like a clipboard, but it looked like a metal scroll. It had like a curled end. I don't know if he wrote the poems himself or not. I wouldn't be surprised. The Genius was pretty close to accurate. He was extremely intelligent, very, very well spoken. A little gross sometimes, but that's from literally growing up in a locker room, But extremely intelligent, extremely well spoken. Like I said, the Genius wasn't far off because he actually was very smart. Frankie Kazarian said something interesting. He said that, and it actually made Lanny Poffo cry, that Lanny Poffo was nice to him when he was just a little boy, when he met him. And he never forgot that. And he was still the same person when Frankie met him as Frankie Kazarian years later. He said, it's funny, not every fan you meet is going to turn into Frankie Kazarian. He said, but, to think that I had that kind of an impact is special, And Frankie said, we meet a fan, it's a minute. But to a fan, it's a lifetime. And he's so right. And I'm glad he recognizes that and how much it means to us as fans to meet them. It reminds me of a tiny little girl. She couldn't have been more than 6 or 8. She was tiny. And they were doing, fan appreciation night for Ring of Honor a few years ago. And different guys were coming out and being interviewed and taking questions from fans. And Christopher Daniels came out. It was his turn. And this little girl, like I said, 6, 8 years old maybe, thanked him for signing a copy of his comic book for her. And, just for being nice to her. And he was just blown away. So much so that he was in tears. He said to the interviewer, he said, "Excuse me." And he went around the back of the window and he hugged the little girl and he cried at the thought that he impacted this young child that way. And that's sort of what Frankie's story reminded me of. He was talking about the impact that Lenny Poffo had on him. Trying to remember. Bye, Colin. I could see people coming and going, which I never could before. So it's kind of nice. It's so sunny out, but it's freezing. Anyway, it reminded me of that, and of when I got to talk to Roddy Piper. It is a lifetime, And I remember exactly how I heard that Roddy had passed away. I had taken a nap. I had woken up and I had my tablet next to me. It was my old Samsung Tab A, which I still have. And so that was my first tablet. And I turned off the alarm and I saw Chris Jericho's tweet. I'm like, how is that possible? I was in tears. And I went to tell my parents and they said, we were about to tell you because it had popped up on the news, like a news break or something. So they had seen it. And they were about to tell me. I remember when Dusty Rhodes died. I was in the bathroom talking to my dad. My dad was outside the door. And he asked me if I'd heard. And yeah, I heard. And he asked me how old Dusty was. I said, you and Dusty are about the same age. Which they were. I believe Dusty was a year younger, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sure I can find it on here. Yep, he was a year younger than my dad. Actually, about a year and a half younger than my dad. About a year and a half younger than my dad, because he was born in October of 45. My father was born in April of 44. So, April, May, June, July, August, September. Yeah, 18 months younger. So, I remember that because my dad came to the door to tell me, and I had already read it. So, then he asked me if I knew what happened. He fell. And was injured, and he was in the hospital. All of his organs failed. I still don't quite understand, but anyway, I will bring you more information about Lanny Poffo's death as I get it. Right now, it literally just happened, so they don't have a cause of death. Um, it's shocking because he was healthy. He was not that old. He was only 68. So I'm stunned. Anyway, I was looking at, I have a virtual cemetery and find a grave for wrestlers. And I was looking at it, and I added a couple to it. Gino Hernandez, the Big Cat, Ernie Ladd, Gorilla, Lonnie Main, known as Moondog Main. Oh, his father was a wrestler. Lonnie Ronald Main, 1948 to 1978. I think that's what it says. 1943 to 1978. Well, except that up above it says 44. So, let's see. He was in his early 30s when he died. He's buried in Salt Lake because that's where he's from. Bob Orton Sr. Here's Roddy Piper. I still can't even wrap my head around Roddy Piper. The Junkyard Dog died in a car accident. Randy Savage died of a heart attack that caused the car accident. Here's Chief Jay Strongbow. Wow, that's a beautiful picture of him. Let's see. He died from a fall that he never recovered from. He was 83. He was born in Philadelphia. Though he was not Native American, he was Italian American. Huh. That's funny. Well, those are his wives. That's funny. Big John Studd's name is John Minton. Thank you. Okay. Oh, that is a beautiful. That. Oh, what did I do? Big John Studd. And on one side of his gravestone it says Big John Studd. Look at the carving. That is crazy. What I started to say before the battery died was that what I could do is leave a link to my virtual cemetery. In the description of this video. Andre's in it. Let's see. Von Erichs. Some of the Von Erichs. Murdoch. Gorilla. Like I said. I do not see Chris Adams. Let's search for Chris Adams. I love my new keyboard, by the way. There he is. Bing. 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 Whoops. No. Save. There. Oh, wow. Chris Adams' first wife, Toni, died. She wasn't that old either. Huh. Oh, wow. She died of an infection, an abscess in her abdomen. That's horrible. Let's go back to my virtual cemetery here. There we go. I'm going to send it to my, how do I do this? Send to your device. I'm going to send it to my laptop. Send. Send to my laptop. That's the easiest way to excuse me. To get the link, just send it straight over there. So. I think the other wrestling DVDs, if I watch them out here, I'll watch them on my PS2. Because, yeah, that was a little weird. Thank you so much for joining me. In the future, look for reviews of this book and this book. I've got to curl up and read. I think tomorrow will be a good day to do that. Since it's going to be very cold. I am going to take a bath tonight because tomorrow certainly don't want to be in the tub. So, and I didn't have an opportunity last night because I got home at 8:30. Excuse me, from Women's Bible Study. We're studying the book of Joshua, by the way, in case anybody's interested. I can't believe how long these people have been gone. You know, you look at it and you go, really? But like I said, going to link this in the description of this video. Again, this video was an all-encompassing wrestling video. Sad news, a review of Andre the Giant, and going over my Find a Grave wrestling virtual cemetery. Or wrestlers virtual cemetery. I remember when I first had Ancestry, Ancestry had obituaries out the wazoo, and I would read the wrestlers' obituaries. Like I said, I'll watch out for any more information on Lanny Poffo's passing. Excuse me. And I will pass that along to you. So, thank you so much for joining me. Please pray for the Poffo family at this time. Never forget. I was trying to get it glare off. Please watch the video of me getting dead. Please like, please share. All these things that YouTube needs in order to recommend a video. God bless you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye.